Well, hello there, everybody. Just jamming out to the little Phil Collins. I'll tell you what, back in the day when he's at his prime and he was looking mighty fine. And let me see if I can get myself up here because it's Monday. It's Prosperity Day, and I trust you are prospering no matter where you are. Welcome. So good to see everybody. Hey, Dirty Filthy Money. Balanca, good to see you. William and Scotty Boy and Lori and I of the Maelstrom, Gilbert, and all others. Welcome. Let me just speak favor over us all. Peace, peace, that peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Throw that in there, and a little Bosto baby. And hey, we got it all made. I mean, that's like having five aces. That's all I got. Lost in Space, what's up? Mary Wins, good to see you walking on water. And Bonnie, Robert V is in the house. Brother, how you doing? Posey and John Price. Robert, got to get you on here if you have the time on that. The Monkey Experiment, what's up? Good to see you. Big Al's in the room. Al, I got your text, and he has been going through, excuse me, folks. I thought that this was turned off, but apparently it is not. So my bad, my bad. But the cards are going to, I think, the proof. So, brother, Herculean job. Well done. Scotty Boy, C Tester, how are you? Odin, good to see you. Mike does. What's up? Regressive narcissism. Wow, that's a heavy one. That's heavy. Woof. It's like, can I get that up there? Go, good to see you as well. And Gilbert, what's up, brother? Hey, so you were out at Red Rocks yesterday, huh? So did you actually? I tell you, if y'all haven't ever been to Red Rocks, you should. It should be one of those things you get to do in your life, particularly see a concert there. I've seen many of them over the nearly 2 decades I've been here. But so Gilbert was out there on his bike, it looked like to me. And you're right. You never get tired of that. Never. Not even when the hailstorm hit us. And it was Stevie Winwood and Steely Dan. And so if y'all have never been to Red Rocks, look it up. And it's out there in Morrison. It's about 7,200 feet up there. But when these storms come off the mountains, I mean, they can get wicked. And me, being the man that I am, I covered my wife's body as I took, and the hailstones were like this. I mean, it hurt. Like I had bruises. But anyway, great concert. I mean, if you survived the storm. But anyway, so good to see you, Truth Seeker. Hello, Wolf. What's up? Good to see you. Gilbert, man, got the memories going. That's all I got to say. Yeah. And again, happy Prosperity Day. So many good people. We're getting things here. And hey, Chloe, what's up? Good to see you, my dear, as well. So we're like in this, look, I'm trying to get the right word description for it. It's chaos. And chaos, whether it's organized or otherwise, is still chaos. And yeah, hey, William, good to see you. Susie Q, Lori, good to see you as well. So yeah, it's tore up. And, it just, as I was telling my wife, I said, this is a good exercise. And she said, what, purgatory? I said, no, although it may feel like that. I don't know. Depends on what your belief system is. But I said, this is where we get to test our patience, our temperance, our, And she said, that's what she loves about me. Keep the positive thoughts coming. Ain't that right, Lucky? Anyway, hey, Lee, good to see you. Hey, Marie, good to see you. Got to get you on the show, hon. Once I get the move over with, then, we'll get it back where things were. Yeah, chaos is good. Out of chaos comes creativity. Hey, Colleen, good to see you. S. Coop, what's up? It is. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that so many things, no matter how well you plan, you've got to figure we're not in the same realm. I mean, we're not in Kansas anymore, folks, and it's it's interesting because it does require a great amount of agility, to say the least. Yeah, dancing in the street. That's all I got to say. So, what else is happening? Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Paul Joe, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you've had a good Saturday and Sunday. I hate to say weekend, I know it's WEEK, but we also know it's WEAK. So how do we know what is okay? I don't know. John Price, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Did you say chaos or chaos? Yeah, I think both. That's a great point. Truly chaos. It's fun. But anyway, so Elevated Linus, good to see you. All right. So one of the things I have experienced and learned firsthand, raising in capital for startups, turnarounds, and you submit an entry to these investor events, and it goes through a panel of judges. And if you happen to be chosen as a potential candidate, then you have to go before this panel of judges and you do your pitch to them, and it's timed. And they basically tear your whole idea apart. And you have to sit there and smile. But if you're smart, you're taking notes, because to be critiqued means to basically have the test. And if you can pass the test, well, you have certain things that will happen. And along that way in the selection process, if you make it through the preliminary rounds, that's what it is, it's not over. You're going to go and be critiqued. And by that time, the competitive analysis of the investment committee has taken place. So they pretty much know that you have competition. There are rarely few ideas that are not universal in the universe itself. You may have an idea, but trust me, it's somewhere else too. The question becomes, who is aware enough to recognize the opportunity? It's true. Norman Vincent Peale said, each one of us experience multiple opportunities each day to be as rich as we want to be, to live the life that we always want. It's amazing how many ideas. I think one research did, I think there's like, and you would think it would be more than this, but it's not that great. 10,000, 12,000 thoughts we have each day. But getting back to the competition, everything has competition, everything. And if you're of the position that you are the only one that has the right belief, and you will not allow any competition, then the game is rigged. And I think that that's what we have dealt with as a society here, particularly in the United States. It's what I can speak best to, because this is where I grew up. And we have had a culture where there is no competition where religion is concerned. Now, here in this channel, we don't get into religion, but religion is an aspect of our collective conscious. And we have to be adult. And even though we may not like to, think about it, it is still in this reality. And so I'm meditating on this because there was a conversation over the weekend, and then it's amazing the synchronicity. There was a story that I saw in a number of different websites about, let me see if I got this right on the county. I just want to make sure I have the Northern York County School District is allowing the Satanic Temple to have after hours events at the public school. And, they are spreading out. And it's amazing the resistance that this organization, by the way, it's a legitimate religion, tax exempt, I think, as well, to actually have a share of the platform. And it's really impacted me because I was up late last night meditating on this. And I said, isn't it odd that we accept unconditionally, by the way, or have for the entire history of this country? It was taken over by a belief system that, is now being challenged. And that's my point. When you have a religion, a business, a politics, whatever it is, and you have no competition, well, that's tyranny. That's authoritarianism. That's, tyrannical. You only allow one belief system. No one can challenge the Christian God. That's taboo, buddy. But yet, isn't what we have here in America the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of religion to express whatever belief system you may have and do it without ridicule or persecution? Isn't that the hallmark that I see all the time of these protesters holding the sign saying, we don't want the devil in here? Well, the devil's already in there, darling. You're holding the damn sign. You are a devil. You are the Satan. That's the problem. You don't know what the meaning of the word is. You're the antagonist. You are the accuser. That's what Satan means, accuser. And it's interesting that, staying on this topic, how we have unconditionally accepted, we've given assent to this and have agreed to it, that there's only one God, one religion, one belief that can only be in the public schools. Now, some people say, well, religion doesn't belong in the school. That's where you're wrong. It's the problem with our education today. We don't have philosophy. We don't have the arts. We don't talk about the spiritual aspect. Well, Wayne, spirituality and intellectualism are two different things. No, they're one and the same. And if you want to talk about academia, well, to say then that the spiritual aspect of man's existence is not relevant in a public education system, well, that's where you're going to get unbalanced. Oh, Queen of Swords, how you doing, darling? And that's what we have today. We have an imbalance. Now, it's so taboo to say, well, Satan, I ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. Again, there's the biasness, the bigotry. We covered the Satanic Bible here. And isn't it odd that you read within the first couple of pages, what is it that a satanic church believes in? It ain't Satan, because they know Satan doesn't exist, at least not in the construct that has been construed to be a personality of a so-called being. You see, and there you go. So you're using Hiel. Now, isn't it interesting? Because here again, you see, it's you're chasing your tail. Because you see, now we're going back to the Hebraic, the Abrahamic belief system. Modern Christianity doesn't have any place in the Abrahamic belief system, but it is adapted to it. My point being in this, we as a society have always been led and forced. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, back in the day when I was in school, this was the late 60s, someone come in and talk about Satan? Are you kidding me? You most likely would have been burnt proverbially, metaphorically at the stake. Because why? Well, because it's easier for humanity to blame an unseen deity for all of its sins. It's a perfect scapegoat. It releases humanity of any personal responsibility. Zero. And, you know, as I was having this discussion, it's interesting that if peace is what the goal is, then why is it the belief system that's been in place has never produced peace? Never. The history of the United States is one as a war nation. You could say that the United States worships the God of war. We've always been at war since the very beginning. There's never been a time where we have not in one way or another been involved in war, been involved in killing other human beings for political purpose. So help me out here, folks. Come on, you're intelligent. So why wouldn't we see the fruit of that? I mean, we're all here about talking manifestation, right? Confession leads to possession, right? So if peace is the ultimate goal or purpose, then why isn't it being manifested? But to allow only one belief system, you're going to get exactly what you got. Now, I am on the record to bringing out the historical record that which we have been under in this nation is the God of war, death, destruction, desolation. It's what the United States brings. Oh, we'll give you, you know, back in the day when we had it, you know, food. Well, food is a great control factor politically. But we're also the nation that withholds. And so, you know, I'm just sitting here last night, and as I'm just meditating on this, and I'm going, so why can't we discuss this openly? Because it's taboo. I mean, there's some parts of the country that they would have my head for speaking such heresy, blasphemous. But, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out here because, folks, humanity needs peace desperately. We as a species are becoming batshit crazy. People are losing their freaking minds. Rational thought is no longer what you would assume that all would have. No. And again, I'm just trying to seek peace. I don't want the rhetoric. I don't think that this is a subject that should be so coy. There are people dying, and there's going to be a lot more dying. A lot more. And sometimes I feel really bad that I feel like, you know, well, we've got our little conclave here, and we love you, all of y'all, but nothing we can do to help you on the rest of it. Because it's happening around us. The events are happening and they're escalating. And again, I'm just trying to figure this out. There has to be an alternative. And because what we have now is not working. It's just not working. I read of the cons. When I was developing the first mobile giving app in America, well, in fact, it was the first mobile giving app anywhere. I did extensive research. What I mean by that, I traveled around the country, dropping into churches, temples, synagogues. Why? Because you have to learn, how do people give? I was an expert at that, was recognized by the Federal Reserve as an expert in that topic. I was also an expert on debit card exchange. My company, again, we were the first ones to build the first fully integrated enterprise level Wi-Fi pay at the table, remote credit card. Yeah. So I know a little bit about some of the things that I talk about here. But anyway, getting back to this thing of learning how people give, you find out a lot. You see a lot. And although we could say today, it's not the majority of the belief system, it's still over 50%. So it's still a long-held belief. And again, I'm asking myself last night, all right, where's the peace? Where's the love? Where's the forgiveness? Where's the reconciliation? I don't see it. Believe it or not, there was a police report of a fight taking place in a church during church service. Now, you could say that's isolated. I wish it was. It's not. And again, where's the peace? Where's the love? Where's the forgiveness? Where's the toned downness of this rhetoric of, apocalypse? It's crazy. I mean, if this is the apocalypse, if the end of our species, wouldn't someone sound the alarm on that? I mean, if this is the end of the world, according to the prophetic word that we've heard, that this has been described in the book of Revelation, and it's in the same thing, it's in the Quran. I mean, is this in the end of days? Is this what we're seeing? And if it is, then it seems like then mankind, and I literally stood up in the bed and I said, this is bullshit. Fortunately, my wife was still asleep, but because we're pawns. If it's really this topic that there's a Jesus and it's God, then there's a Lucifer and it's God. And one is supposed to be the white hat. The other one's supposed to be the black hat. But yet, this white hat, this one right over here, this is the one that's got all the death, all the destruction. This is the one that it's God tells other humans to go kill other humans. It says that if you don't do what it says, it's going to kill you. This one over here, the one that's reviled, persecuted, judged, has never made one request of any human to harm another human. It's nowhere to be written. It cannot be found. So what if there's a message that this one might have that just possibly, just hypothetically here, folks, just shooting the breeze at the water cooler, what if there could be a potential solution in what this one had to say that's being prevented by this one? I mean, how intelligent is a species to reject only one side? I thought we were intelligent. Isn't that what being open-minded means? I ain't going to worship anything. If I'm going to worship anything, it's going to be myself. Yeah, you can say whatever you want to put that name, but you know what? You're a hypocrite. You worship yourself too. That's the deal, folks. That's why you're here. You worship yourself. You always have. Why? You're a god, a goddess. But let's get back to the topic at hand. We've been told that is heresy. Why, you're nothing but a sinner. You're a race, a species is not worthy of consideration of having enough intelligence to rule yourself, because way that you are been trained and programmed, you're programmed to believe that there's something greater than yourself that is ruling over you or influencing you. And if as such is true, then we're just pawns. We're automatons. We have been totally integrated into the Borg. Resistance is futile. No, I'm not. I am. What I'm agitated about, if you want to use such a word, is then, so what's your solution? I'm going to give you the opportunity, I am, to tell me why is it that humanity cannot find peace? Why is it that we become so blasé about death? In Denver, where I live, multiple murders every day and getting worse. My point is to have an intelligent discussion with adults. And if we're going to say that, well, if a person talks about it with passion, your perception is that it's agitation. It's not. It's passion in saying we've got to come up with an alternative, because our political systems, they're collapsing. Our economy is collapsing. It's going to get tough. So where is the solution? Mike, that's fine. Peace is the understanding of your existence. So go out and tell the world that. How do you do that? There is only the fall of memory. I don't know what that means. Hey, Blazing River. Perhaps we are here to get all the evil out of our system. So define evil. Who is and what is evil? The opposite of what we are taught. To repress only brings us back. I know how this sounds. Yeah, I mean, listen, someone asked, all right, can you explain why you don't believe in reincarnation? I said, well, just do the math. If it started from one, well, how the hell did it get to where it is now? So where did those souls come from? What are they being manufactured in a pod? The numbers don't make sense. And so you're going to be reincarnated over and over to learn a lesson. There's obviously that the human species is not capable of learning lessons, because we make the same mistake over and over and over again. You see? Hey, Courtney, what's up? Here without hands. I can dig that. But hey, Ballot Brand, it's this discussion. I mean, this is the discussion that should be happening in our education system. I mean, isn't sociology an academic? It's a career. You can become tenured in it. And you and I make up that society. I mean, even during the peace movement of the late 60s and early 70s, there were a few people I knew who were murdered. Yeah, we were young, idealistic, but I do know this: we have something that is not here today. There was a sense of openness to those who were willing to be open-minded. There was a sense of trust without fear. A girl who I knew back in the day, Alex, she was remarkable. That this spirited warrior, she wasn't afraid of anything. She hitchhiked around the country. It was remarkable, truly a free spirit. And that's what I think is lacking here. It was uptight times back then, economically, politically, sucked. It really did. We were in a midst of change, but it was interesting. At least it started out that change was readily wanted. We knew the alternative. I mean, maybe it was because our generation was being killed by the tens of thousands. I mean, I lost a number of friends in Vietnam. Lost one who came back who wasn't the same, was not the same Grady. I mean, maybe that gave us more of a sense of urgency. Death. We all knew death. We saw it every evening by Walter Cronkite, you know. I don't know. You know, when I lived in the state home for abused children, you know, I've said this before. My roommate was black. James, loved him. He was my brother. Took a chain to my back for him. We don't have that today. I don't see it. It's like everyone has a right. A right to what? I don't know. But they certainly seem to be at it. And yet, the world becomes closer and closer, precariously, to the edge of this precipice that no one seems to have an alternate solution. You can't go to the mainstream media. Thank goodness we've got platforms like this that can be an alternate frequency, a voice in this matrix, but it still gets back to this thing. So should the Satanic Temple be allowed to be in school? I mean, that's the question. And if you say yes, then why? Brandy, much love to you, darling. You know, there's a song about you. Hey, Chloe. But think about it. I mean, why is it that we go through school, we do academic competitions? You know, back in the day, you know, my first grade class, I still remember this. I wanted that gold star up there. You know, if you did your homework and had your snack and cleaned up and did the nap, I mean, that was my goal. I wanted that gold star. But there was competition because there were others who wanted that gold star. Yeah. So why is it that in school, we only get exposed to one religious belief that says it's the savior of the world? No proof of that. I mean, why is it that we can't hear the voice of one called Lucifer, that is a made-up name to begin with, but let's just go with it. Why can't we hear what his message or its message is? I think if Lucifer does exist, it's female. It's more of the feminine energy than it would be of the masculine. And speaking of the masculine, it's emasculated us all. This damn society where we have the male penis as the apparently is your power broker, it's nuts. And so, wait a minute. But that is promoted heavily by this one-sided belief system. Where over here, and I visited the Satanic Church, they don't pass the plate. They don't make you feel guilty of tithing. They don't make you dig out your money to pay to a god for the ability to have access to it. Huh. That's odd. But yet this side is the one that's supposed to be proclaiming peace and accusing that one of evil. Well, that's the devil. That's Satan. That's Lucifer. That's bad. Really? Because if you do the study, you find out that there's very little written about the cat to begin with. Meow. And yet we have children now that are spiritually depleted. They're almost like blank slates. And if we deny the spiritual aspect of our species, then we're denying our very existence. And so why does that become so taboo? Scotty Boy said, I was doing the low profile, man. I can dig that, man. I can dig that. Hey, Chris, how are you doing? You know, it's interesting in Peter Jackson's adaptation of The Hobbit. In the first installment of that, it was interesting because one of the dwarfs said, excuse me, it was actually Bilbo who said, where sickness grows, bad things follow. And boy, I thought to myself, wow. Where sickness grows, bad things follow. And I tell you, I think it's just the fact that I think humanity is sick. It appears that we have all the symptomology of soul sickness. Something is poisoning our souls on a collective planetary basis. If good and evil exist, and if it exists, then it's apparently the hierarchy of each one of these precepts. We're really the donkey between two bales of hay, and we're starving to death because neither one is feeding us. Both has the ability to give plenty, but we're not that away. That's a soul sickness. It's like this palsy, and it's been here, folks, for millennia. It seems to be intensifying, which is odd. But then again, that's a lack of perspective. And I thank Grandma Rose, who left this plane decades ago. She was a teenage girl in the Holocaust. She watched it. She watched it unfold, and her words ring immortal into my memory. It's exactly what we're seeing today. It seems that we propagate our own demise. And getting back to this good and evil, so if this is true, then it means that man is nothing more than an automaton. If you're saying that we're going to be influenced, that's the problem. Influence. Why is it that we must have an influence in order to initiate an action? I mean, if you partake of the Spirit, you're going to get what they call a DUI, driving under the influence, or a DI, driving while intoxicated. Intoxicated, isn't that an interesting word? You see what's taking place in the cities now with the pharmacology. There's a new drug out there that makes people zombies. It's an animal tranquilizer, but it's proliferated out there. Saw one particular video in Kingston, Pennsylvania. And it's just not there. It's everywhere. When I begin to see humanity ignore and accept this as normalcy, no, something's wrong here. Those are people who have no hope. That's the sickness. It's part of it. And again, I'm just asking the solution. I'm not saying that, either one is right, either religion. The Mind of Scholar says we're talking of the human race, not self. But yes, but self is the human race. And I dig that. Loving thyself. And so if we were to take that mind of Skylar, it's then all right, then that's lacking. That perception is lacking in a great deal, in a great part of humanity. We can't separate ourselves from the species of who and what we are. We're all individuals, but we're fractals of a whole. And all I'm trying to do is invoke a conversation or a thought that it's not fun and games. It's the problem. It's amazing how many people are addicted to this black mirror. Yeah. And when I see human beings, it saddens me. That woman, that man, that they have such a loathing either for themselves or their existence, that they seek to anesthetize themselves to the point to where they're no longer in control of their very body. And we can't just say that this is with the cities. It's everywhere. I don't know. This is not one of those exciting topics. I don't expect it to get a lot of views because, quite frankly, people don't want to be reminded of reality, and it's not a pretty picture. But the topic is still true. After school Satan Club. What if, and I'm just talking hypothetically here, what if there was something that really positive came out of these after school meetings? I think I've seen what the curriculum, what they do. It's far out. I'd have been a part of it. I mean, if it teaches another human being to be open-minded, more accepting of a different opinion or point of view, and not lose their cool, but be at peace with it and say, all right, is there something I can take from that? If there's not, that's cool. You don't know what it'll be down the road. Just store it. That's all I'm trying to do here. I mean, because we've got to stop playing the games. All indicators are coming that the games, yeah, they're afoot. It's not what we think. I mean, we are living the Hunger Games. And it's going to get tough, folks, in 6 months. Unless we can change this on a collective level. In every place of the world, there's enough people that will go out in the streets and say, no, not going to do it. Not going to harm anyone anymore. Not going to proclaim my right as more superior to your right. No, we're all part of the human races. I'm going to love my fellow man, fellow woman, with respect, dignity, and that there is enough resources that no person has to go hungry. But my voice will never be heard. It's, it's a small little voice, but it's the fact that you and I could have this conversation, I think, breaks a lot of the stereotyping going on. I'm here to tell America, you should embrace Satan. Get to know him. And you should get to know Lucifer. She is a phenomenal being. We created them. Just like we created Jesus, just like we created the God, the Hebrew God, we created them. They didn't create us. Because I ask you, is Jesus human? Is the Christian God human? Is Lucifer human? Is Satan human? Is a devil human? Is an angel human? I mean, if they're not human, then they're aliens. Or they're nothing more than an egregore. Powerful. You start having billions of people that feed into it, you're creating a powerful, powerful thing. I'm just asking the questions. Because I got to tell you, at some point in time, I envision a day, if we survive, where there will be a council brought together. And it's not going to be motivated by political gain, financial gain, or power. It will be a true council that will be able to look at us as a species. And then we judge ourselves. The only evil is what we create. The only good is what we create. There's no God, no Jesus, no Satan, no Lucifer. And at that point, when humanity begins to accept its own responsibility, realizing no God is going to provide its answers, no God is going to come in on a white horse and save us, the only one that's going to save us is ourselves. And if we don't have that ability to save ourselves, then it's game over. If we fail to have the ability, the maturity, to address the fact of reality is not a political system, there's no religious system, there's no economical system that's going to save us. It's us. And we have to judge ourselves. We are, by all definitions, a very low intelligence species. We have failed to advance. We have regressed. Over 2,000 years, we've had regression. And we're bearing the fruit of that. But until that day comes, we're allowing something else to dictate our future, our course, our fate, our destiny. I don't like that. If something hides, will not manifest itself in the physical plane, I don't give a goddamn about in the ethereal realm. I care about here because this is where I exist right now. It's where you exist. And if I can't see this thing calling itself God, then it's a fraud. Just like Lucifer, like Satan. But if you're saying, well, no, it's not physical, Wayne. It's a force thing, you know? Really? Really? Where has that gotten us? That type of stinking thinking is why we're in the mess we're here in today. We got leaders in politics who don't know, their heads are so far up their anuses, they don't know. They're as clueless as the person on the street taking that drug, making them a zombie. Because everything in this world is leading to total totalitarianism. And if we're so enlightened and so self-aware, then why aren't we seeing a bigger impact? And again, maybe this Satanic Temple may have an answer for America. I can tell you what, the Bible certainly doesn't. Didn't Jesus say, I did not come here to bring peace, but I came here to bring the sword, to bring division, to divide husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter? I didn't write it. It's what he said. I don't know. Why can't we weigh the evidence as a collective, as a species, and say, wait a minute, something ain't right here? Because I don't see anyone in any part of the planet having an answer. There were never 10 commandments, go. There were 10 letters. But you see how we've perverted this? Because people actually think that Cecil B. DeMille and Charleston Heston was Moses. That's what most people think. That is their image of God and Moses and the so-called 10 commandments. They never were commandments. And if they were commandments, commandments for who? Because those 10 commandments are a goddamn fraud. Because if you're telling me that this God says thou shalt not kill, I show him that he's a goddamn liar. I go right to the book of Joshua. When you tell your followers to cut the fetuses out of the mothers and then slam their heads against the rock, what kind of God is this? Really? And to bring my point out, I'm going to show you something. All of this is what the Christian God, Jesus as God, Father, has done to mankind. More human blood spilt by this God than any God that's out there. Over and over and over. Yeah. I'm just saying, is there something wrong here? I want peace. I don't want it to be where there's a 74-year-old woman in New York City who's just going out to the store. She's scared already. And then some punk comes behind her and sucker punches her. I mean, the stories go on and on. Well, people say, well, the problem's too big. If it's too big, it's because we don't want to be mature enough to address it. Listen, we could change this in a day's time. But if you're saying that this good and evil thing exists, which is evidence that it does, then we're not in control. But yet I don't see any of these gods coming out and killing each other. It's us. We're the only ones spilling the blood. Hatred, envy, jealousy. I mean, but we want to talk about love. We want to talk about peace. I do. That's why I'm asking the question. So again, the point to this, wrapping all this up, is that I think the Satan Temple should be allowed in every school. If there is any church that's representing the Christian belief, the Muslim belief, the Hindu belief, and by the way, if there's any school district that's not recognizing those others, then we have an unbalance here. And I believe that the Satanists should have the same platform as the Jesus people, as the Muhammad people, as the Hindu people. And let the competition begin. Let's see which God really is the good guy here, the good gal. Competition is good. They want to make us then competitive. I think they should be competitive. Prove yourself. Maybe that they all failed us and we're all going to have to come together and go, now what do? We ain't got no God. No God. It's just, this book is bullshit. Got nothing in it. Whew. And Miss Connie, you are absolutely right, my dear. You get the gold star. We're under a spell. It's what the problem is. We're under a powerful spell, but no one wants to recognize it. It's one of the reasons why we're getting the hell out of Denver. Don't want to be under the influence. Joe Sapien, I don't know. It seems like we're incapable of learning. It seems like we are genetically flawed. Whoever did assemble us made mistakes. We have the inability to progress. I mean, anthropology shows it. We have not progressed. And if you're saying that, well, we've get from the cave to where we can build a house, really? So how long did it take us to get to that point? As a species, we're so regressed in so many ways, and it's something we need to be honest about. And again, I don't deny the existence of any of these forces. They're very well evident in our reality. My whole point is that I don't think it's what's been told to us. And, some would say, well, that's fulfillment of prophecy, men like you, Steiger. In the last days, there shall be scoffers, deniers of the truth. I know it word for word. The same thing happened, though, I believe, in 69 AD as well. I believe in 45 AD is, my point is, really, That's all you've got? If your God cannot defend itself, well, wait a minute. I guess it didn't write those words, did it? It was us. And if you said that it was us who wrote those words, men under the influence, men who were possessed, men who were channeling. Might be our first clue. What the hell were they channeling? Oh, yeah, it tastes really good. It gets in your stomach and it's going to be, oh, man, you're going to have the running twats going. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you consume that stuff. Because you become where you serve the only true God. I have the authority, the King James authorized edition of God's word. Really? You don't even know who the guy is that supposedly is on the cross. You don't even know its name. Why is that a problem? You don't even know its name. Okay. As again, I don't expect this one to get a whole lot of views, but I'm just asking questions, folks. I'm trying to sit here and reason with this hurricane season that we're in, because we've got to do better. And what I'm seeing taking control is an alien influence. I don't believe it's human. Not in the least. It can't be human. I don't believe that we as a species, if left alone, would do what we're doing today. Something is driving us. Something is influencing us. And yet we want to blame each other. And blaming each other isn't getting us anywhere. Saying mean things to each other, writing nasty comments, that you say one thing, but it's a backhanded slap in the face. I mean, that's nonsense. Look at the meanness. Look at look at Facebook. They can't create an algorithm that doesn't turn psychotic. Are we the reason for that? I don't think so. I just refuse to accept that we are so broken as a species that this is all we're capable of, inflicting pain and suffering upon each other. We're better than this. We have to be. Otherwise, what's the reason? What's the purpose? Oh, all right. I appreciate y'all. I know this is one of those subjects tomorrow with Trina. We have the birthday gift girl. You're going to love Kachina. She is just wonderful. And I'm looking forward to that. And thank you for your maturity. I don't know if this does any good at all, but at least it's out there. And I'm saying that, again, I think that if the Satan Club wants to do in every school, let them come. You might be surprised how many of your friends and neighbors may be actual true Luciferians, true Satanists. Because I got to tell you, their record is far better than the Christian side. Think about it. Okay, till we meet again. Thank you all. Says if you keep asking why people are in trouble, listen, as a teacher, you have to. What am I supposed to do? Just simply doing my Bill Murray impression. It's all right. I am. Much love to you. Auntie Queenie says, save yourself. That's exactly it. And it's not a disrespect to anything of any hierarchy or any type of spiritual system. If you can't love yourself, why would a spirit love you? Why would another spirit love you? And it's hard. I know it. You get under stress and you do things and you make a decision that it wasn't right. you have a tendency to want to talk very self-negative to yourself. That's a clue right there. Because then the feelings start flowing. And then you got to ask yourself, well, then what force is influencing the feelings? All right. Much love to you all. You're beautiful. Thank you. And I love the diversity of comments. That's how we grow. There's a proverb that says iron sharpens iron. And I do believe that that is the case. So, all right, you groovy people. Austin Space, thank you, man. Good to see you. Hey, Kim, Project Skyfall, genetically modified. Good to see you. Cowboy panel, good to see you as well. So, hey, folks, it's just a discussion. Don't get your panties all in the twad. Just relax. It's just a discussion. Aloha to you off the hook. All right. Deborah Sloan, much love to you. Peace. That's the thing. We love people. That's why we talk. I mean, if you go to your doctor and you don't talk about the symptomology, your doctor won't be able to make a very good diagnosis, huh? That's all I'm trying to do here. That's all I'm trying to do. Just kind of keep the party going. That's all. Don't want to lag in the conversation. All right, good people. We'll see you tomorrow, and much love to you all. You listen, it's our attitude here collectively that's the answer. I mean, it really is. If I could just bottle all of this beautiful energy that we have here when we come together, heck yeah, we wouldn't sell it. We'd give it away. We would give on the principle, you sow and you reap. You sow prosperity, you reap prosperity. Oh, yeah, that's far out. All right. Much love, everyone. See